MMA boxing talk here. I want to put out a preview video for next Saturday's fights. It's what a night of fights. September 10th is going to be jam-packed. I cannot wait. So much to look forward to. Now, of course, you start off the night around 5:30 Eastern Time. We're going to have Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, fighting Kell, who is, moving up 2 divisions. Kell is has the IBF at 147 pounds, arguably the best fighter at 147 pounds. And, he's probably the biggest 147 pounder, especially, in the top 5 or so. Kell, a lot of people are comparing Golovkin to Canelo Khan, and I mean, it's not even close. It's really not even close because Kell, he can fight at 154 pounds. That's probably his natural weight class, because when Kell weighs in at 147 pounds, I mean, he's pretty gaunt. You can see it in his face. Of course, on fight night he looks great. He rehydrates, but at the weigh-ins, it takes a lot for Kell to get down to 147 pounds. You can do it, but it's obvious that 154 pounds would be Kell natural weight class. So really, he's only moving up 1 division. But of course, he doesn't fight even 154 pounders on the regular. So it's you got Kell, who's a huge 147 pounder and a champion. And then when you compare to the Canelo Khan, I mean, Amir Khan only had, I think, 4 fights at welterweight before he fought Canelo. And, this guy's been knocked out multiple times, never been a champion at 147 pounds, not even fucking close. It's just not really comparable at all. I mean, it is what it is, but just had to put that out there. But I cannot wait for this fight. I think, Gennady Golovkin's going to win it, of course. I think it'll be a good test for him because, Kell no joke. He's probably, maybe the most skilled guy Golovkin's ever faced. But, of course, he's not used to taking that. He's not used to that power that Golovkin's going to have. And Golovkin has a granite chin. He eats shots for breakfast. I mean, but it will be interesting, I think, for the first few rounds. That's for sure, But, and then later on, during that night, at around 10 o'clock Eastern Time, we got Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Carlos Cuadras. This is a huge, huge fight, Haven't always been really following Chocolatito, but lately, I've been following him a lot more, and this is a great, great fight. I mean, Chocolatito's moving up, trying to become 4-division champion. Now, he's moving up, I believe, from 112 pounds, or I'm not sure what division he was at before, but he's moving up to 115, and he's not taking any tune-up fights. He's jumping in there with the most experienced fighter at 115 pounds, Carlos Cuadras. He's defended his title 6 times. And the lighter weight classes, I mean, they can't take easy fights. They can't cherry pick like all the other divisions and all the other, high-profile fighters do. The higher weight classes, they can get away with cherry picking because their fan base is so much bigger. The smaller divisions, they seem to have smaller fan bases, especially over here in North America. And, no one really talks about the smaller weight classes. But, hats off to Chocolatito, who's moving up, fighting a bigger guy, a more powerful guy, very, very experienced. And, like I said, no tune-up fight. He's jumping in there. So, if he can win this fight, that would be huge. If he can knock out Cuadras, that would be outstanding. That would really make a statement. And then, of course, depending on what happens in that fight, I would love to see Chocolatito turn around and fight, I can't pronounce his name that well, but Naoya Inoue, the Japanese fighter, the monster. I mean, that guy only has 10 fights, but the eye test alone, I mean, the guy passes with flying colors. He really is a monster. That's a perfect nickname for him. I'd love to see Chocolatito fight him eventually. But I mean, if Cuadras wins that fight against Chocolatito, hey, Cuadras Cuadras in you would be huge as well. But huge fight for Chocolatito. Got to tip your hat to that guy. I think if he can win this fight. Easily pound for pound number one. I think he is right now, arguably. But if he can beat Cuadras, that'd be 4 division title, like world champion in 4 divisions. So very interesting. He's already moved up 10 pounds when he began at minimum weight of 105, and now he's at 115. Very interesting stuff. And then, of course, we have UFC 203, which is huge. You got the heavyweight champion taking on Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight champ. First title defense, taking on Alistair Overeem, the most decorated striker in UFC history, probably in MMA history, maybe. Alistair Overeem, what a long journey he's had. I think his record's like 41 wins, 14 losses. He's been knocked out a lot of times. But very technical striker, especially for that heavyweight division. He's by far the most talented striker. Very well diverse striking, arsenal. But Stipe Miocic is a beast. This guy's a boxer and a wrestler. He brings it. He's got that stamina. It's gonna be very, very interesting because we know what Overeem's gonna try to do. He's gonna try to lately. He's been fighting on the outside, using more movement in and out, and being very patient with his attacks. In the past, Overeem would just go out there, try to finish the guy in the first round every time. And, he developed over time. His chin just started to deteriorate. This guy's been knocked out 9 times in his career. So, he's been taking the right measures lately and being more cautious, more calculated. And he's going to have to do that with Stipe. We all saw how Stipe knocked out werdum. Werdum charged at him, and Stipe knocked him out going backwards. Overeem is a lot smarter than that. He's not going to charge at Stipe. Very interesting fight, though. I will be putting out prediction videos for that fight and, the Golovkin Brook fight later on this week. But I just wanted to make a preview video talking about all these fights. And of course, in the co-main event at UFC 203, we got Fabricio Werdum taking on Travis Browne. These guys fought back in 2014. Werdum won a unanimous decision, but Browne was landing some big shots, so it'll be very interesting to see. Both guys are coming off of both guys have been stopped in their last fight. Werdum got obviously KO'd stiff by Miocic, and Cain Velasquez TKO'd Travis Browne at UFC 200. But both guys are making pretty quick turnaround, especially Browne, both being knocked out in their last fight. Let me know what you guys think, though, of this card and the boxing fights as well. Great fights this weekend coming. I cannot wait. And also, we have CM Punk's debut, which is pretty huge. It is. Here we're having a wrestler come over to the UFC with no prior experience. Brock Lesnar doesn't really fall under that category because he had a ton of experience in NCAA wrestling, had a great career there. He had some sort of background in mixed martial arts. CM Punk has 0. Pro wrestling does not count as mixed martial arts. And, in the beginning, I really was pissed off. Here's this guy getting a chance who doesn't deserve it. When someone, he's taking someone's spot, but he's not taking anyone's spot. 2 years ago they announced, the UFC signed him, and they didn't have a fucking clue, who's going to be fighting at UFC 203. So he's not taking anyone's spot, and plus he brings more eyes to the sport, and he's going to, sell more pay-per-views at UFC 203, which will make everyone on that card a little richer. And I've seen a lot of people there, including Nate Diaz, which is hilarious. But because when CM Punk first signed with the UFC, Nate Diaz went on like a 5-minute rant, going on and on and on about how bullshit it is and all this stuff, and I was agreeing. But as time went on, CM Punk, it's not his fault that he's a big name guy, and this is what he wants to do, and the UFC's giving him a chance. Of course he's going to take it. He wants to prove himself. Like, this guy loves challenges, and It's going to be very interesting because, CM Punk, as much as he has no fighting experience, he's fighting a guy really who's, not really a UFC caliber guy. Maybe his talent is, but, who has Mickey Gall beat? Mickey Gall had one fight in the UFC against a guy who was 0-0. Like, you know what I mean? He was having his first pro fight. So that doesn't really, that's nothing. Like, you know what I mean? I would think CM Punk would beat the guy, whoever Mickey Gall fought first in the UFC. But anyway, it's interesting. CM Punk definitely has more experience on a big stage. This will be Mickey Gall's first time on a big stage. That's got to play a factor. Plus, he's supposed to go out there and finish this guy no problem. And CM Punk, I respect him a lot. I'm kind of rooting for him. He hasn't said anything ridiculous. He hasn't came out and said He's not overconfident. He's very, very respectful and humble. And I'm actually cheering for him. I hope he wins. But it's a win-win for me because if he loses, I can go to my buddy who loves WWE and loves to tease, and I can just say, "What the fuck's CM Punk doing?" Fake wrestlers, these actors, they can't fight. What does he got himself into? I can tease him, but I'm definitely cheering for him though. There's no doubt I'm rooting for CM Punk. But that's a huge one though. A lot of people will be tuning in for that fight alone. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I kind of rambled on a little too much, but just want to put out a preview video for next Saturday. Huge, huge night of fights. But that's it for this one. If you like the video, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.